Hi, this is Ricky-san. I'm a Pi consultant. In this video, I'm going to talk about the impact of CrowdStrike from the Pi system angle. So maybe to start with, what is CrowdStrike software? And it is an antivirus software that's why they release a new package to update so that they can update the list of the vulnerability, right, to catch viruses that are new, right? So that's why from that night, once the package got deployed, all the Microsoft Windows operating system machine with CrowdStrike are impacted. And what happened, right? So we thought, right, IT thought it's cybersecurity attack at the beginning, because when all the machine turns full screen, you would not know it is CrowdStrike, right? So they thought it's a security problem and someone hacked to the network and all that, and then CrowdStrike actually say it's their issue, it's their bug, right? They push some bugs into your system and then causing full screen. So to talk about full screen, we hate that, right? The Pi system hate that because remember, you have to stop and start the Pi server gracefully. You may have a Pi start and Pi stop button on your desktop, right? So this is to help you gracefully stop and start the Pi server. And if you don't do that, if you have a full screen, you have to manually restart your Pi server, like from a hardware level. Then it could corrupt something, right? And I'm going to talk about the corruption, but maybe first talk about that morning, because I think I realized this problem in the morning. So in the morning from 8, right, I realized a couple emails saying, oh, I cannot see trends, I cannot see Power BI dashboard, right, nothing runs, right? And then that's when I realized I have to investigate, right? I have to look at what's going on with the Pi system. And then I log on. Actually, I was able to log on to the machine and then go into the machine. I look at the interface and I realized all these interfaces were not started. Even though they have automatic start type, it's not started. And then I go into the Pi server, that is not started either. And then I'm like, no, this is bad, right? It's so bad. And you know, I can tell why interfaces were not started, because when you have the Pi server stop and then you restart your interface, even though the machine start, it didn't realize the Pi server, so it could not, all these interfaces could not start. They would just error out and then didn't try anymore, right? I was in my heart, I have to start the Pi server first in order for everything to work. I don't know, you remember there's a diagram on the onion, right? Like the onion is the Pi server, right, with AF and notification and all that, right? And then you have the clients, you have the data collection, right? Pi server is the main component and it has to start first in order for other components to work. So in my mind, I have to work with IT to get the Pi server start. So I have to get that Pi server start. So I move on to the Pi server when I realize I have to do something. So I go to the Pi server, I try to start it, right? Like I try to run that Pi start script and then it didn't start. It's stuck, right? It's stuck at Pi snapshot subsystem. I couldn't start that thing. No matter how many times you did, you have to do some repair. So my mind is like, okay, should I restore? Should I just repair, right? How do you do that? And like maybe repair the software, maybe, you know, run the software kit again, right? What happened? And I was looking through the article and I realized, okay, if you stuck at the Pi snapshot subsystem, it means that snapshot subsystem file get corrupted, or snapshot subsystem table get corrupted. So I have to run a command, right, which I mentioned before in one of my blog posts, to repair that file. And then once I repair the files, it was able to go through, start the Pi server. Everything start. I have to verify if every component are working. So I look at the archive, right? I look at if the data is going to the event queue or no event queue, right? And then I realized the primary archive are corrupted. And then, you know, when it is corrupted, you cannot collect data because data will go to the event queue and then fill it until you fix the archive. So I have to make an archive shift and reprocess the secondary archive. And you could stop the Pi server, do an offline archive reprocessing as well. Doesn't matter, whatever way works for you, right? But that's what I did. I just do the lazy way, right? That is an easier way for me to reprocess the data archive. And then the third one is I have a secondary Pi server. And that secondary Pi server, I was doing that snapshot, table repair, and with the command, and also try to do offline archive reprocessing as well. And I couldn't start that Pi server. Luckily, this is a secondary Pi server. So what I did was just a restore. So I restore that Pi server from backup, and then I have to reinitialize the primary to the secondary to that Pi server. And then once I done that, all the Pi server gets started. Then I move on to the interface server. And then when I talk about that, the interface server, all these interfaces were not started, right? Because I think they restart the machine when Pi server is not available. So I don't want to like right click start on all the servers, right? I just restart the machine and then look at if data collect for everything, right? I have a Excel sheet table that I can look at. Once the data is collecting, I know what is good, what is not, right? So after that, I realized some of the interface are not collecting data still, and it is because the data source are not running. Data source also could be installed within the Windows operating system with CrowdStrike software. So we have to email the source owner and data source owner and tell them, hey, maybe let me know when you fix it, and we can start collecting data again. Move on to the analytics servers. Analytics was not running, and we had to make a restart, because I think, yeah, you just have to restart the machine and also the analytic services, because when I fixed the interface part and the Pi data archive, the analytic behaved really weird. So I restarted. I was looking at the counters and all that, it's just weird. So I restart them and then everything works, and then move to Pi Visions, right? Also like SQL data access servers, DAS, right? Pi SQL DAS. Go to Power BI, look at the display and see if everything kind of working, right? Communicate with other team and see like, oh, are you good, right? So that's kind of like that day. Didn't do much other than repair the Pi server. I was like a little bit of work, and then what's the after the fact, right? After we repair everything and everything, like most of the data were start collecting, I realized we have a data gap. We have to backfill. So we have a lot of work to backfill the data to the data gap. I think that's kind of like the impact. The impact is the report is not having good data and then run, and then it has problem, right? If it doesn't have all the data, the report become inaccurate. So we have to fill the data gap and then ask them to run the report again so that the result is much better, right? It's kind of like data integrity problem we have to solve and make sure our job to put all the data back if the source has it. In terms of financial impact, I don't know the answer. I'm sure because they are blind, they could not detect things. Luckily, within that period of time, there is not much going on. But if there is, we wouldn't know because the analytics server was not running, right? And there's no notification. The midnight I was sleeping, but I could have get notification normally, but I don't get notification this time because data archive was stopped for all of the machine, and there's not much we can do about it. But yeah, thank you. That's the impact of the CrowdStrike problem for the Pi server. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'll see you next week. Bye.